Hi, welcome back to my podcast. Just wanted to reach out to you guys today. Just another day this week. Just been thinking about some things that a lot of people have been bringing up that I've been seeing either out and about with friends, family, social media, all that. One of the things is don't let anyone change your mind. And I've done this countless times before, where a lot of people will have their own opinion, and they're really good, strong opinions where you're like, you believe 100% of that because they're either a friend, a family member, whatever they are. And they have that strong opinion where it makes a lot of sense, where it's like, yeah, you know what? That's what it is. And the strong opinions, they will alter our decision making on what's best for us, what's best for our family, what's best for the situation, whatever. And like, for example, I've had countless times where it's like selling either I sold a burnt duplex. It was obviously ugly because it was burnt. And I was marketing it, didn't have it on, the MLS or anything like that. I was having people in realtors tell me, "Man, you're asking way too much money for that. You're not going to get it, this and that." And I'm like, "Look, I stayed true to my guns. I was like, look, it's, this is what it's zoned for, this, that, and the other thing." Like, I had my whole plan set out on that duplex selling for, I was wanting 155, and it was burnt. I understood, but what I understood where the value was. And that's what you got to understand. Like, taking a step back into, your reality is, you got to understand the facts. You got to, if someone tells you, oh, this, that, and the other thing, you have to understand the facts and go back to those facts. Now, if they're stating their opinion on them, think about it and take that into account. But don't go solely off of it. If you believe in it, go for it. Go for it. And the reason why I say that is because anybody could say anything, anybody could do anything, but the only person it is up to at the end of the day is you. You are the only one that can either make it happen or not make it happen. It's all based on your mindset. What is that? Is it Confucius? He says, if you can, you will. If you can't, you will. Something along those lines. And it's very true, though, where if you think or that's what it is. You think you can, you will. And if you think you can't, you will. And that's the thing, is you got to understand that, you're going to have these moments in life where you're going to have self-doubt. You're going to doubt yourself on this, that, and, you're going to lean on your friends or your family. And a lot of them will tell you, yeah, no, it's not going to work, whatever it is. So back to the duplex story. Is, that's what was happening, was a lot of realtors were telling me, you're crazy. In other words, you're not going to get that. This is not what it is. But I saw the facts. I knew the value. But the way I was marketing it, it wasn't working. So then I threw it on the MLS, and crazy thing is I went from sending it to nothing but investors now sending it out to everybody that was looking in Las Vegas for something particular. And I was able to reach somebody that actually paid $175 for it. So I got a bump of $20,000 more than what I was trying to market it to investors. And, people were that's the thing, is people were like, oh, this is what it is. And, I had a business partner at the time was like, you're crazy. Like, I don't think it's worth that much. And I'm like, no, like, I know it is, because, if someone's going to destroy it, demolish it, whatever it is, they can build, whatever it is, these are the facts. And you just have to stick to your guns. You have to stick to your guns. You have to stick to your knowledge of what you know and sell that. Now, some of you might be saying, well, yeah, but I've stuck to my guns and I was wrong. Yeah, no, admit defeat when you're in defeat and reposition yourself. It's like playing basketball, playing soccer. When you're on defense and we'll go with basketball, and you're trying to position yourself so that way they don't score a basket up close, or do a layup, or do a dunk. You're going to have to position yourself to not allow that to happen. Now, if it happens once, then that's when you got to think real quick. Like, okay, next time this actually scenario happens, or they're in this, position, I have to shift, left, or I have to shift right, or I have to get lower or put a hand in the face, whatever it is, play defense and reposition yourself, because like, oh, I was doing this when I should have been doing this. Reposition yourself, figure it out, and get it done. It's like I play soccer. I see that happening a lot is, when I'm not doing something right, I try to adjust it. I try to not let it actually happen to me. And, they'll either get past me, whatever it is. So I figured out that, things to do to not let that happen and play defense. And I've it's actually been showing, because I've been thinking about it. I've been watching some things, and I've been learning. It's like, if you're getting defeated at something over and over again, don't just roll over and be like, well, I suck. No, you don't suck. You don't suck. You're not experienced enough to understand what to do next. So that's what you're going to have to do, is you're going to have to reposition yourself, learn some few things, and then go back out there and try it again. If that doesn't work, okay. Let me look up, because there's techniques to everything, and there's not just one technique that works for all. There's probably 20, 30 different techniques in life that you have to keep on trying to see what works for you, what fits your position in life. And once it works, oh, okay, let me try it again. Oh, it worked again. Cool. You figure that out. Next step. Go on the next step, go from there. So, don't let anyone change your mind. Don't let anyone alter that or anything like that. If someone, if you're playing a sport and someone's like, oh, you're not doing this and this and this, think about it. It's like, okay, am I getting the stops? I'm not getting the stops. All right. Listen to what they're saying. Ask them for a little bit more advice. That's what I would say is, if you're in business, if you're out there in life and you're struggling with something, and someone sees it and someone tries to correct you, a lot of people they don't know how to approach people. That's what it is. Like, you might say, oh, they're coming off rude. They just probably don't know how to approach people. And that's what I do on a daily is, if someone's rude to me, I think back, okay, did I do something? Did I say something wrong? Did I, what was I doing in a certain situation where, was it me? And that way I can then figure out, okay, it wasn't me, or ask them, like, hey, like, what is it that I could do better, or what is it, whatever it is, you don't want to try to, oh, what upsets you, like you can, it depends on the situation. If it's work, you can't really say, hey, what upset you? Because, if it's like the next day or a couple days later, like, hey, on Monday, I came to you, and that was like 3 days, I came to you 3 days ago, and, you got upset with me because I didn't do something correctly. Why were you upset? They're not going to remember. They're just like, I don't think I was upset. That's just how a lot of people are. Just like, I don't remember. Like, I don't know. So you got to kind of approach it like, hey, remember when you told me this? What can I be doing better? Because people might be getting frustrated possibly with you. And that's probably what it is that you need to work on something in order to get that going. Now, if you're working and you're accomplishing things and your boss isn't saying anything, and but a coworker's like, hey, you're doing this wrong. You're like, well, I've been doing this for the last several months, and nobody's ever told me this. I've been doing really well at work. What do you mean I'm not doing this right? The boss sees how I work. Boss sees this and that. What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean that I'm not doing this right? So you gotta kind of take it where it's like, analyze the situation, figure out if it's right or wrong, and then go from there. A lot of us, we don't do that. We're quick to react. We like to react more than we do analyzing the situation. And if we all just took a step back, analyze the situation. Oh, you know what? I was wrong. Okay. Admit defeat, admit that you're wrong, reposition yourself, go back out there, try again. And I think that's what it is. What a lot of us are kind of scared of is repositioning and trying again, because it's like, man, I tried this 5 times, 5 different ways. It's not working. It probably won't work. I just don't want to force it, because if you force it, it's not going to work. Nah, BS. Like, no, try it 6 times, try it 7, but try it different ways, and that's what a lot of people, do is they stop and then they go from there. It's like, that old saying where it's like, oh, you have 2 people, one person's, digging for a diamond, the other person's digging for a diamond. One person digs 5 feet deep, the other one digs, 3 feet deep, and they find a diamond. It's like, what? I just did 3. I just dug 5 feet, and they only dug 3, and they found something. You know what? I'm gonna go over there and actually try to find more, because he didn't dig 5 feet. There could be more. When in reality is that it's not all about luck. Maybe that person, was able to, get one quicker than you. But the other thing is, the way you gotta look at it is, you dug 5 feet. Try digging 6. Try digging 7, because you might find a whole bunch of diamonds. And that's kind of reminds me of like when I got into real estate. Man, oh man. Right when I got into real estate, it was rough, because I didn't sell my first house since it was like 6 months in. But I was on a team. I started out on a team. And, we were given leads every month, and it was like every day, lead would come through or whatever it is. And we had probably 5 other agents other than myself. So 6 total. So there was 2 other agents that started at the same time as me. And I would say one he sold one. He got one of the leads that came through. He was able to get a listing or a buyer. I forgot what it was off the bat, like the first month. Just like, what? Like, this is insane. All right. I'm keep going. And then we started all at the same time, like all three of us. And so month one, he had one down. I'm like, damn, a little discouraging. Month two came by. The other guy, he got a listing, and then that listing also wanted to buy. So he basically got 2 sales, and I'm like, all right, well, this is my month. I'm going to get something. I was working. Month 3 goes by. They're finally finishing up their deals and, closing out, and man, I just made X amount on a check, blah, 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 blah. Like, they are excited. They are hyped up. I was like, I was happy for them, but at the same time, I was a little upset, but get this, for those first 3 months, I was like, okay, I need to wake up early every day. I need to market myself on Facebook. So what I did was I went and I did Facebook Marketplace. I found 2 houses, one in a specific price range, and then another one in a higher price range, but not too much higher. So I would say it was like between 200 and 300 that I would pick out, and then another one be between 300, 400. So it'd be about $100,000 difference every time. So I would just do that. I would find nice houses, post them, renovated, whatever it is, post them, boom, boom, boom. And it'd just be 2 houses every day. And I'd, have my website, generate my own leads, so I was basically sitting there. I was, building my foundation. I was laying the concrete to my house, basically. I was sitting there laying the foundation, making sure everything was good. And, I look right next to me, and, I have one guy, his house is almost built. I have another guy, his house is almost built. I was discouraged. I'm like, all right. Let's keep going. Month 4 goes by. I'm starting to get, more and more leads I'm generating. I'm doing phenomenal, I think. And making calls, following up, doing all this stuff. I guess you want to say at this point I had my plumbing going. I had, the structure up. I had these other 2 guys that now, 4 months into it, they didn't get any other sales. And month 5 is when I started getting things in escrow. Meaning that, people were active month 4, where month 4, I had them searching for houses. I had them, I was showing them houses. I was, checking out their house to list their house, all this stuff, getting them with lenders and getting them pre-approved. Just getting going, So, and then these guys were just sitting there just, like stressing out. I'm like, what's going on? Like, you guys good? And basically they're like, man, like, we're calling all the leads and all this. Like, what are you doing? So I explained, I'm doing Facebook marketing. I'm marketing myself this way, blah, 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 blah. And yada, yada, yada. I got my website all built out the way it needs to be. So if this happens, blah, 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 blah. So I built everything out, right? I had my house built. And I'm looking at these guys, and it's like, if a windstorm picks up, or a bad wolf comes by and blows on it, it's just going to fall, And that's the thing. You have to build your foundation, build your structure in order to have a sound house. That's business. Is you have to get everything going, and it's back to that analogy I was talking about earlier in regards to, 2 people digging a hole and one finds a diamond, 2 or 3 feet deep, and I'm still sitting there digging from 5 feet. If I would have stopped, I would not have found those diamonds. Now, I was able to close. It was 3 or 4 buyers in that month that I was able to finally get them going. And then after that, it was like I had, 2, 1. It was just like I had consistent business. I'll look back at them. And, I don't like compare myself, right? But at the same time, you got to know in business where you're at with everybody. And if you don't know where you're at, you don't, you're looking around the room, and there will be that flashy guy. He's flashy with like rings and suit, and you're like, man, that dude's making it. Sometimes the flashiest ones aren't the ones making it. Usually it's the ones that are dressed, moderately average, and those are the ones, and then the ones that are calm. The calm ones are always the ones that are doing business. And usually the ones that are all flashy are stressed out, loud, at parties, whatever it is. That's just who they are, is because they're stressed to the max. Because they're trying to get that next sale. They're like, they're fiending like, they're trying to get that next sale. And, you got to keep trucking, and that's the thing is you kind of got to look around, see who your opponents are. But the only opponent is going to be the one in the mirror. You yourself are your own opponent. And I started seeing that, I would say probably 2 or 3 years into business. And only reason why I see that is because I was always like, man, I gotta be, the top dog in my brokerage. I gotta be, on that, I was number 20. I want to be number, 15. I get to there. It's like, I need to be number 1. And it's like, then you go to yearly. It's like, okay, yearly I'm out of 100 agents in my brokerage. I'm, number 69. I was 69th. And it's like, okay. And it's like, I got to go lower. So I got into like 48, 47. And I was like, yeah, I should go lower. And it's like, yeah, I'm making that money. And that's what kind of was motivating me. But at the same point is, I was doing it for the wrong reasons. I was motivated for the wrong reasons. And I got to that point where it's like, I wouldn't be able to get that monthly goal because now sales were abundant. And once they're abundant, it's like you're not going to be that top. I was still top, the top 100 that year, and I think I ranked it again in the 40s, but I was just, it's like, I was stagnant. I'm like, I'm plateauing. I'm like, what's going on? Like, I gotta do better. What's everyone else doing? Instead of looking at myself and be like, you know what? I need to look at myself and I need to look at what I'm doing and make sure that it is, I'm beating myself from the last month. So you have to go in and, every day you have to beat yourself from yesterday. What'd you do yesterday? Okay, I did this. Okay, can I do better? Oh yeah, I could always do better. And that's the kind of mindset you have to have is I can always do better. I went to the gym. I did this, this, and this. I woke up a little sore, but could I have done better? Yeah, I could have stayed a little bit longer. Oh, but I had an appointment. Okay. That's what you got to kind of figure out, kind of get going. And, once you start competing versus yourself, man, you're not so stressed. That's the best part is you're not so stressed when you're competing versus yourself because you're like, okay, I got this many in escrow. What's my goal? Oh, what was my highest? Oh, my highest was, 7. Okay. Let me see how many more I can get. Then you beat the 7. You're like, yeah. You're like, but, that was last month. That was March. Like, hold on. That was March, Josh. I'm in April now. And okay, now I got to beat him. How can I beat him? And that's just all it is you're always against yourself. But as long as your fitness goals are there, you have to put fitness in your business. You have to put fitness in your life. If you're not in business, fitness is key to your life, to set up your day. And then second is mindset. If you don't have fitness, your mindset's going to be all jacked up. You're going to be overthinking, and it's not fun. So you have to have those building blocks in order to succeed in business. You just have to just keep going, keep doing what you're doing. And, that's the crazy thing is that, people will frustrate you. People will, do whatever it is, but you gotta also think too that when people have these thoughts about you, it's like, that's just an opinion. That's just an opinion. You got to think to yourself. That's what I do all the time. As I think is like, okay, that hurt my feelings. A little, but is that going to change my day? Nah. It was just a blip, a blip in my day where it's like, one little negative thing, and that's I learned that at a young age is you can't let the little things during your day ruin your day. I had a teacher, I think it was high school. Actually, to this day, like I still remember, I think it was him that said it. And he said that, if you wake up in the morning, you get dressed, get ready, you're looking good, you're like, yeah. And he's like, and then you make your breakfast and make your coffee. You're about to be out the door. You're rushing. You're just like, oh my God. You're going crazy. And you spill coffee on yourself. Now, there's two ways of taking that. One is, you're going to be like, okay, well, it's just coffee. I can either change my shirt or just keep going on with my day. But it can change. That situation can change. Like, it's just a shirt. Or two is you get upset. Now you're like, fuck. And the worst thing to say is, there goes my day. Or my day will be bad because I spilled coffee on myself. Now, what are you going to tell everybody when you go to work? I spilled coffee on myself. Or someone's like, hey, like, what's that on your shirt? I spilled coffee on myself. It's going to be a bad day. Like, things aren't going right. Things aren't going my way. Bad mindset. Bad mindset. You got to get out of that. And the thing is on the flip side, or the positive side is, if you don't change your shirt and you leave the house, you go to work, someone's like, hey, what's on your shirt? Oh, it's coffee. Man. Like, the day's not going to go well already for you. No, it's fine. Like, it's just a shirt. Maybe at lunch I might, go buy another one and change my shirt, or, depending on how my day's going to go, I'm going to probably just stay in this shirt. And, you're going to have a better outcome to your day by having that mindset of just like, you know what? Let it happen. Let the bad come, because once you let the bad come and go, that's all that happens. It comes and then it goes. But if you let the bad fester, that will bleed into your family. That will bleed into everything, the whole day, and then, just having that mindset, it will drag you down. It is so exhausting to be that way too, is that. And I used to be that person before that saying, before I heard that. And, my teacher was like, look, it takes, little effort to be positive. It takes a lot of energy. It takes a lot of effort to be negative, but we tell ourselves these negative things, and what's the result? Negative results. And now if we tell positive things and we get negative outcomes, but our mindset is still positive, look, you look at it as a bad way or you look at it as a good way. When something bad happens to me, I'm like, oh, wow, it's a learning lesson. I'll learn not to do that again, or I'll learn not to wear white again when I'm drinking coffee, or whatever it is. So, that those are the things is that. The other thing is about negative and positive is, the people that you hang around with, the people you surround yourself with. If they're negative people, you're gonna feed off that energy. And I'm a big believer in energy when it comes to positive and negative, and then you have I don't know if you have neutral energy people, because it's either positive or negative. I don't think I've ever met anyone that had neutral energy. And if I did, I probably met people with neutral energy, and those people with neutral energy, they're draining just as much as negative. And, versus the people that give positive energy is you feed well off of it. You just, you're so hyped. And a funny story of mine is when I was in my teenage years, it was a negative. I was in a negative situation. Everything was negative in my life. And the thing is my friends started changing. Like all of us, we all change. My friends started changing. Instead of looking at negative things, they would look at things positive. They would be positive about a lot of things. And I'm just like, dude, stop being fake. Like I would look at something and they would say something positive about it. And it could be a bad thing, but they would say something positive about it. Like, why are you trying to make it better than what it really is? Like, stop. Like, this is what it is. This is negative, blah, 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 blah. Negative, negative, negative. That's all that's coming out of my mouth. That's all spewing out of my mouth. And the funny thing is, they'd be like, no, man, like, yeah, what you're saying is true. But what I'm saying is true too is, look at the bright side of this. Look at the positive side of this. And it took me some time, probably years to finally figure out, like, people don't do it to be fake. They don't fake positivity. They try to be positive. It's not faking. It's trying to be positive. And once you start trying to do something, eventually it just becomes natural. When people start rooting for you, when people start, doing, positive things for other people, it's not giving gifts. It's like little gestures here and there, positive gestures. If you're an acquaintance, whatever it is, like, people will generally, that's how we are as human beings. We'll do things, in a nice manner, as long as you respect us, we'll respect you. And I started figuring that out, that, about the respect and positivity. And that's all I do now. If someone messes, like, if cashier messes up, oh, I'm so sorry. No, don't be sorry. Like, it happens. If something happens somewhere, hey, look, no, like, hey, nah, you're good. Like, I don't care. You're fine. I'm very just, like, passive on a lot of things, just because it's like, look, it's not a big deal. I could care less. You're doing the best that you can do. That's fine. That's cool. Thank you. Thank you for your service. No matter who you are, if you're a cashier, thank you for your service. If you're, anybody, like a janitor, whatever it is, thank you for your service. It's crazy that we don't respect others at all when it comes to, like, little jobs like that or anything like that. But, it's all about positivity and spreading it. Spread positivity everywhere. And once you start doing that, you'll see everything else in your life start to change slowly. Once you get to a certain point, you're like, you look back, you're like, wow, like, I'm not as stressed. People are happier with me. I haven't talked to so-and-so. And then when you do talk to them, you're like, wow, I changed my mindset, and my consciousness got rid of that person because I was trying to get rid of negativity. And now I've gotten rid of that person. Now I see why I got rid of that person. That's why I changed, is because your mindset is changing, your consciousness changes. And once that happens and you start to do more things positive, you start to do good in life, it pays you back. It's like if you do bad pays you back too. It all pays you back. Just what do you want to get in return? What do you want to get paid back in return? So yeah, I know I went on a little rant there about positivity and negativity, even though I was talking about not anyone changing your mind, but it kind of correlates to it where you can't have anyone change your mind on anything negative or anything positive. Just, keep doing what you're doing. Keep positive. Keep going. Keep going. All of us are here. All of us are in it. We're all trying to win. And the thing is, we all can win. We all have a chance, and it's like a lot of people are like, no, like, whatever it is, like as long as we're all positive, there's billions and billions of people on this earth. Like, why wouldn't you succeed? If you think of it that way, like there's billions of people on this earth. Why wouldn't you succeed? So think of that, that one is really deep. So yeah, I would just say, moving forward, when it comes to not letting anyone change your mind, don't feed off their energy. Just, take either their criticism or their opinion and think about it, take it into account and see if it's true. It's like if it's a true fact, and then execute. If you need to reposition yourself. Like, that's fine. A lot of people are scared to reposition themselves because it's like if you go and tell someone, hey, I'm gonna start a business doing X, and then you start doing that, and then you're like, I'm still in this type of business, but I actually like doing this better, and then you want to reposition yourself because you enjoy something better. That's okay. Reposition yourself. And it's like, well, you're kind of telling yourself, well, I told a bunch of people this is what I'm doing and this is what I'm happy about, but I like that better. It's like, go for that. Like, reposition yourself, attack it, go for it. Like, screw what everyone else says. Screw what anyone else. Are they going to make you happy? No. You yourself are the only person that's going to make you happy in this life. So do what you think is right. If you have a family and stuff, like, they're going to support you no matter what, especially if you have kids and a wife, they're going to support you. If they think you're doing something bad, they'll tell you. Like, I would say my kids are the most straight up kids. Well, one is 2 years old. The other one's 8. So the 8-year-old, he's straight up. Like, that's just what he is. And, he'll tell me sometimes, like, he'll tell me, like, I guess you want to say if I'm messing up or whatever it is, he might not directly say, but his attitude says it. And I'll talk to him about it. And, we go from there. And then I have to just obviously reposition myself and attack, and not attack, but reposition myself and readjust and, do it in a different manner kind of thing. But, just don't let anyone cloud your judgment. Nothing like that. If you believe in it, go for it. You're the only one that can do that thing and do it right, because you have that idea and you have that structure around it where you can get it accomplished. And that's why I tell a lot of people is like, look, if there's two people going into, one thing, like we'll just say real estate. If there's two people going into real estate, there's one person that's going to attack it and another person that's going to just do real estate. So it all depends on you at the end of the day. Like, if they're like, oh, well, I do real estate this way, this is how I get all my business. And the other person's like, well, I do real estate this way, and this is how I get all my business. Are they both right or are they both wrong? Well, obviously they're both in the right because they might be doing totally two different completely things, but they're still at the end of the day happy, making money, and providing for their family. Can you fault them for that? No. Now, if they're doing illegal stuff, that's a different topic. It's a different story. But yeah, like just make sure what you're doing is ethical. Make sure what you're doing is right. But at the end of the day, if it makes you happy and it makes you happy, don't let anyone change your mind on anything. Like stay true, stay grounded, and and if someone tries to make you break a little bit, stay grounded. And it's crazy. It is crazy. So I'll leave you guys off with one more story on not letting anyone change your mind. So it was actually my first flip that I did, and when we first purchased this property, it was worth $360. The market changed and all that stuff. We finished the rehab. It came out great, really nice, and it was in an area that it was downtown Las Vegas where it was actually starting to come up, but it was slowly coming up. And this was in 2021, something like that. And there was a lot of people like, oh, well, we went from 360, and I was like, I want to sell this for $480, so about $120,000 higher. And there was a lot of people who were like, it's not worth that. Like the comps are saying X, and we have a thing in real estate where we say, well, it's as much as someone would pay for it. So if someone really liked it, they would pay for it, no matter the comps, no matter. So I put it up for $480. Well, I got an offer for $465, I believe it was $465. So about $15,000 less. And I was happy with the offer. I was like, wow. I saw if they could do a little bit better, obviously, but they're like, no, this is what it is. This is what we want to pay. And the thing is they wanted to close in 7 days. It was all cash offer for $465. I'm like, okay. I call the agent, like, hey, like, is this real? Is this true? Like, where they get, not where they getting the money from, but do they have to sell a property? What's going on? Like, no, they already sold a property. They're just trying to reposition their funds into another property, and they want to move downtown. They like it downtown. Okay. Like, this is too good to be true. And it wasn't. It was just, I guess it was timing. And I sold it for $465 7 days later. And there's just a lot of people that are like, no, like, the comps are actually $410, $420. This is what it is. I'm like, no, I put so much money into this property. This property looks fantastic. Like man, I love this property. It looks great. It looks awesome. And, I was able to sell it for a lot more because I believed in it. Now, I'm not saying when it comes to real estate to, go up and far beyond and it's like, oh, people will pay for what's really worth. Yes and no. And the reason why I say yes and no is because yes, someone will if they see the value in it. No, if someone doesn't see the value, or if the majority of the masses don't see the value in it, they will not put an offer in. Crazy to me is that, with my clients, I will show them a property and then I will run numbers. I'm like, well, they have this property way over list. Let's shoot them on an offer. Let's shoot it over. My clients are like, I don't know. It's like, wait, that's 20 grand less. I'm like, well, that's what the comps are. It only takes me 5 minutes to write an offer. Let's try. If you like it, yeah, cool. Let's try. And most of the time, like 9 times out of 10, it hits. It's like, bam, cool. Like, we got it. And they'll be amazed. And I'm like, no, you got to stick to it. You got to stick to it. Like, and if it's sitting there for a while, obviously, it's not worth that much. So, that's the thing is, you can try whatever you can try. If no one hits on it, obviously reposition yourself, get back together. So that's the moral of today is, don't listen to anyone to change your mind, and reposition if you need to, and execute, and reposition as much as you need to in order to execute, and don't take too long to overthink it and try to execute. And if you're not executing, keep repositioning. That's all it is. So until next time, I hope you guys enjoyed the podcast. Please hit the like and subscribe button. Let's keep this going. I appreciate you guys. Thank you.